Now, lots of developments and important developments happened in Punjab today. It centers 3 farm bills were countered by Punjab's 3 farm bills. Captain Amarinder Singh's Congress government in Punjab managed to pass 3 bills which basically negates the centre's bill altogether. They have the support of all opposition parties as well at this point. But is this enough to possibly satisfy the farmers, or is this just a political gimmick? Are political parties at this point just playing a game of one-upmanship on who will lead the fight for the farmers without really solving the problem for them? Well, is it policy or whether it's politics? All of that is what we will look at. First up, listen in to what Captain Amarinder had to say while these bills were being passed in a special assembly session called in Punjab today.
We have the other methods, which are the legal methods. Agar constitutional head साडे नहीं sign करेंगे, I am hopeful कि governor साहब इसनु जरूर ध्यान देंगे because it is unanimous. As governor of Punjab, he should do this to the president. If not, then there is always a legal remedy.
All right, Ghazali joins us for more on this. Ghazali, these 3 farm bills have now been passed in Punjab, but the next step is also crucial. There have been questions over whether or not the governor is going to give his assent, and then ultimately will the president give his assent to these laws as well, which basically counters and puts away all those things that had to be applied because of Modi government's farm laws.
Yeah, today actually unanimously all the parties in Punjab's assembly supported the bill except the BJP. Their 2 MLAs abstained from voting and they left the assembly session midway. And in the evening, the chief minister, along with all the MLAs from all the parties, they met the governor, asked him that they just placed the bill, content of the bill, and narrated him that they now want the president and governor's assent both. So the chief minister came out and told that he is also planning to meet the President of India and apprise him about the current situation, that how the existing farm laws enacted by the union government is going to endanger the farmers' interest in Punjab, and how it will be detrimental the way law and order situation is prevalent in Punjab right now with protests across the state. So now the big question is whether the governor and the president will give their assent or not. The Congress MLAs, the Akali MLAs and the Aam Aadmi Party MLAs, they were all they were pushing the chief minister that we should go to Delhi, we should speak to the President of India, we should speak to the government again. And this is now, the situation right now is that the bills have been passed in the assembly, but it needs assent from the governor as well as from the president.
All right. So what will happen to these bills, and mostly is there simply being politics played over these bills? Let's take that forward to our guest this evening. We've got Hardeep Kingra. He's a chief spokesperson for the Congress in Punjab, and we also have Maheshandar Garwal. He is a spokesperson of the SAD. Mr. Kingra, let me come to you first. Many are saying at this point, especially the BJP, that this is simply double speak from the Congress party. You actually had the same farm laws which the centre actually passed as part of your manifesto. Now that the farmers are protesting, you want to take the lead in trying to say you will stand by them.
No, Sonal, this is not the case. This is being projected very wrongly. If you map the bill, what the Punjab government passed in the past, or made them the acts, and the present act which has been passed by the union government, then the mapping, if you do, there is a lot of difference. It is not exactly the same. One more thing is there, that farming is a technical matter and there is a linearity of the various activities. The activities follow in a linear fashion. You cannot take the 10 first and the 1 at the later stage. You will have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 10. So if you look at our manifesto clearly indicates from 1 to 10 how the things should move. The farmer should be educated first, infrastructure should be created first, and then these things should be brought into force. You can't say that we will start from the end first. And secondly, one more thing very important is, as they normally say, putting last before the first. Now you see, last is these bills are for the farmers. Have the farmers been consulted? This is the biggest issue. For whom you are making these bills?
You're saying the Congress party consulted the farmers before passing these bills?
Of course, not consulted. We did it. We had long discussions with the farmers. We have long discussions with all the political parties, because the bills have been, They have unanimously passed in the Punjab Vidhan Sabha. No party refrained except for the BJP, which was obvious. So we cannot say that we have not consulted the farmers. And second thing is that this is not for the first time that such a thing has happened. If you look at the Indian Forest Act, India
okay, hold on, sir. Let's not digress. Let's stay on these farm bills. Let me bring in Mr. Grewal as well. So let him also make his opening comments. I've heard you. I'll come back to you. Let the spokesperson from SAD also speak. Sir, your comments. The allegation is very simple, that there is a lot of politics and not policy changes that are actually happening. SAD so far also, the manner in which they participated in these cabinet decisions and later withdrew themselves as well is not being seen in very clear lights or in good light by the farmers themselves. They in fact in their gatherings were heard constantly saying that they don't want any political party as part of their protests as well. They don't hold SAD also at this point in very high confidence.
Sonal, this is not true. Actually, the Shiromani Akali Dal, whatever committed to the farmers before these bills were presented in the parliament, we had long meetings with them. And they only asked the Akali leadership, the farmer leaders, that Akali Dal should vote against it and should leave the government. We even left the NDA. Now, the only thing is that the present situation is a confused in the sense legal terminology. We have to go a very long way to settle that these laws are not enforced, because simple passing by such bills by the State Assembly will not solve the issue, not it will serve the purpose. People have even doubts on the intentions of the ruling party, because as Mr. Kinkra before me told that it has to start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and up to 10. Meaning thereby they have also the same intention, but they first wanted to educate the farmer, then take them into confusion and these enforce. Akali Dal simply believes that what the farmers are saying, that these laws are detrimental to their interest and they should not be enforced in any way. I think it will be much better on the part of the Congress if they unequivocally apologize to the farmer community for incorporating all these things in their manifesto of 2019 of the parliamentary elections and 2017 of the 2017 of the Punjab elections. Moreover, what today they have passed has a contradictions. The only one positive thing which came out of today's session is...
What sort of contradictions?
Contradiction is that in 2017 August they passed a bill allowing e-trading, allowing private prayers, allowing private mandis. They have not even till date has deleted the provisions of the APMC Act.
But why didn't you raise this on the floor of the House, sir, then? You supported the passage of these bills.
Yes,
you're saying you have a problem now when you should have stood up in the assembly and spoken about it.
Just listen, Sonal. We never wanted to convey any impression that Akali Dal is creating any hurdles in the way of the Congress for achieving any...
See, that's what I'm saying.
Good.
See, exactly what I'm saying. There is so much politics over it that appearances and party positions matter so much that it has taken precedence over the actual interest of the farmers. Let me bring back the Congress spokesperson on this one. Sir, can you tell me 3 things or 3 ways how the bill in Punjab, the farm bills in Punjab are different from the bills which have been passed by the Modi government?
Okay. The first and the foremost thing is that the bills in Punjab, they say that when you have a private market, you will have to get it registered and pay the market fees. So this is not existing in the current bill passed by the parliament or the act made by the union government. So there is a APMC we have amended to the include only the vegetables and fruits, not the grains. So these are the differences between those bills and these bills, because still the state government has a control, and secondly that you cannot attach the property of the farmer in case of a default.
No.
Number fourth is very clear. Let me say, Sir Grewal Sahab, let me say. Number 4 is that the judicial review is not there. Here there is a, you can go to the executive magistrate, but here they say that.
But what about MSP? That's the reason why farmers are on the streets right now, sir.
No, that is why MSP was not there earlier. Earlier act never had the MSP clause in it, but now we have included the amendment of these bills as applicable to the Punjab territory. We have included the MSP clause as well, that the contractor or anybody who wants
quick
to
response and have to
sign
take
an
a break.
agreement.
Quick response from Mr. Grewal.
I tell you, the MSP is a major issue which has not been touched. See, MSP is not, Mr. Kingra agreed that MSP is not a part of any statutory provision till date. This is what the Akali Dal is demanding, that as Mr. Modi, as the Chief Minister of Gujarat, in 2011 recommended to the then UPA government that MSP should be given a statutory provision. We are demanding that.
Okay.
I think what they have done is, the only thing today what we have, the Punjab could prove that all the Punjabis are behind the farmers' demand, but it is not the way it should have supported the farmers. Because what Mr. Kingra said, that even after the trade outside market will attract a market fees. That's a state finances. How it helps the farmer? Answer is no.
Okay.
See, we are looking for, not for the state, we are fighting for the farmer's right, not for state right. First, we must have done one thing very clearly, that a resolution by the state assembly should also be passed, that MSP we made a statutory provision, and also when the center makes it a statutory provision, they should also incorporate a provision. Whosoever will try to defy the MSP, I simply say that even
but sir, you should have raised these on the floor of the House. What's the point on coming on television debates and trying to say, oh, this was not done? You should have actually done it on the floor of the House. So I don't take that argument. I'm going to have to take a break, gentlemen.